Welcome to the Textiles TV channel. The Indonesian textiles, apparel and fashion community reference, headlines Bank Indonesia boosts regional economy through Batik. Bank Indonesia, by Surakarta Representative Office encourages the development of Batik as a leverage for the regional economy, which is currently starting to rise after the COVID-19 pandemic. So far, the fashion sector, including Batik, is in second. Fashion does have the second largest contribution to the economy. He noted that the culinary sector contributed 41%, fashion 17%, and craft 15%. At the initial stage of the production-themed training was expected to be able to encourage batik makers to carry out the batik process in an environmentally friendly manner. For example, what will the waste treatment be like if you use artificial moss? Next news: government asked all out to push industrial performance. The government was asked all out to encourage the performance of the manufacturing industry to revive the national economy. This is because manufacturing can be the cornerstone of the economy in 2021. To maintain the momentum of the surge in manufacturing performance, the government needs to issue a number of policies. For example, releasing a counter-cyclical policy in the form of dispersing social assistance to boost consumption. This is important to maintain export growth, he said. The government must boost the production of national export products, aggressively exploit market potentials, penetrate the market, and continue to improve export facilitation. Imports of garment products are restricted. What next? Following the coverage,
the government will set import duties for importation of garment products. The goal is to stem the invasion of imported garment products into the domestic market, thus triggering an increase in the unemployment rate in the textile and textile product (TPT) industry sector. Director General of Small, Medium and Miscellaneous Industry (IKMA) of the Ministry of Industry, Kemenperin, Gadi Wabawaningsi, emphasized that the government must do something to protect domestic industry. Especially for garments, the Ministry of Industry encourages imports to be closed for specific products. Currently, most imports are from China. During the pandemic, continued Gadi, the garment industry was really affected. Even today, only 20% survive. Even then, only the export ones.
Lack of guarantees domestic market hinders new investment in the textile industry. The Indonesian Association of Fiber and Filament Yarn Producers, APSIFI, revealed that the local textile and textile product (TPT) industry requires fresh investment. However, currently the investment needed is hampered by trade regulations that favor imported products. Secretary-General of the Association of Indonesian Filament Yarn and Fiber Producers, APSIFI, Redmagita Wiraswasta, said that from a capacity perspective, new investment is needed for the fabric finishing and fabric manufacturing sectors, especially if the market starts to normalize. Indeed, so far for import substitution, the textile industry can still use existing production capacity. However, according to evaluation data from APSIFI based on the capacity and age of existing machines, to catch up with the growth and consumption of the textile industry, the fabric sector needs to increase the finishing capacity and rejuvenate fabric-making machines by around 1 million tons with a total investment of $600 million. Meanwhile, the production of yarn and fiber is 500,000 tons or requires an investment of around $400 million in 2022. Redma explained that the big obstacle currently happening is that the domestic market is still filled with imported goods that are sold online. Small and medium industry, IKM, especially garment IKM, convection, is very depressed because they are directly dealing with imported goods online. If we look at our sales in the upstream, then downstream as of today, production has stopped about 20% from the position at the beginning of the year, said Redma. Pan Brothers hopes that there will be a study on the increase in port service rates. Some time ago, PT Pelindo II, Persero, or IPC raised its service rates which apply at the 5 international container terminals at Tanjung Priok port. This decision has prompted a number of protests from port service users. One of them is a textile issuer, PT Pan Brothers Tbk, PBRX. And Patricia Sutanto, Vice Chief Executive Officer of Pan Brothers hopes, PT Pelindo II can review the decision, considering Indonesia's economic conditions are still in the recovery stage. Likewise with the condition of industrial players in the country who were also affected by the pandemic. She considered that this condition was not in accordance with the spirit of accelerated economic recovery, in which the industry had to carry out cost efficiency in order to continue to improve the competitiveness of their products. Minister of Industri Agus calls the reason for the textile industry to be priority in the Industry 4.0 program. Following the full news, the Indonesian Minister of Industry, Agus Gumiwang Kartasasmita, was one of the speakers at the opening ceremony of the INA Fashion Semesco Online Expo 2021, Wednesday, 21/4. On that occasion, Minister of Industry Agus revealed that the textile and apparel industry is one of the priority industrial sectors in the Making Indonesia 4.0 program. He noted, in 2020, the performance of the textile and apparel industry was able to reach $10.62 billion. Meanwhile, its contribution to the GDP, gross domestic product, of the non-oil and gas processing industry was 6.76%, he explained. Referring to all the potential and advantages possessed by the textile and apparel industry sector, said the Minister of Industry. On this occasion he again invites all relevant stakeholders together with the Indonesian people to contribute to the success of organizing the INA Fashion Semesco Online Expo 2021. Among them are by buying various local fashion products that are offered. The next news came on Cartini's Day. Cartini's Day and the future of Mother's Batik industry. Celebration of Cartini Day is always synonymous with kebaya and batik. Unfortunately, unlike previous years, after more than a year of being hit by a pandemic, this year's Cartini Day celebration was overshadowed by the news of the collapse of 75% of batik craftsmen in the country, save the mothers of the batik industry. On this Cartini Day, the government should pay great attention to saving the people's and women's batik industry. The tradition of making batik itself, as an art, may not be completely lost. However, as a people's industry, as well as an arena of economic articulation for Indonesian mothers, the batik industry may soon become a thing of the past. This is what is urgent to be saved. Next news. Rewish flooded with baby clothes and Muslim clothes from China. This is the culprit. Following the coverage in recent years, Indonesia has continued to experience a significant trend of increasing imports of textiles and textile products, TPT. Starting in 2015, Indonesia imported up to $7.98 billion of TPT from various countries. That figure slowly increased in 2016 to $8.16 billion and 2017 to $8.80 billion. When viewed in more detail, namely from the growth in monthly value, imports of textile and textile products continue to increase compared to exports. Institute for Development of Economics and Finance. INDEF. Srihartati. That there are several factors in the increase of textile imports in Indonesia. First, Indonesia, which is the fourth most populous country in the world. The second trigger, which causes textile imports to increase, is the regulatory problem, which is considered to be still pro-import, especially finished materials. The third trigger is about investment. The next is, coming from INA Fashion encourages recovery of fashion. The virtual exhibition INA Fashion Semesco Expo 2021, which is held on April 21 to 30, 2021, is expected to encourage national economic recovery, especially UMKM in the fashion sector. The exhibition, which is organized by INA Product in collaboration with Minister of Industry Agus Gumiwang Kartasasmita, hopes that this event can restore the national economy. Moreover, the textile and apparel industry is one of the priority sectors in Making Indonesia 4.0, which is important to continue to be developed. In 2020, the textile and clothing industry exports reached $10.62 billion and its contribution to the GDP of the non-oil and gas processing industry reached 6.76%. The proposal for the implementation of safeguards for garment products that was intensely discussed was said to have entered the decision-making stage. What next news? Here is the full news. The proposal for the implementation of safeguards for garment products that was intensely discussed was said to have entered the decision-making stage. The Ministry of Trade said that policy support for the garment industry is needed in the midst of economic conditions that are still in the recovery stage. Head of the Trade Assessment and Development Agency, BP3, of the Ministry of Trade, Oknerwin. He explained that the National Interests Advisory Team, PKN, will consider all aspects of making decisions, including aspects of domestic industrial protection to aspects of national economic conditions. Viewers, we're at the end of the show. The last news is closed with buyback of shares plans. Textile International prepares 40 billion Indonesian rupiahs. Don't forget to subscribe this channel, like, comment, and share. See you next weekend. Thank you and bye-bye. In order to maintain stock price liquidity in the market, PT Textile International TBK, TRIS, will buy back shares or buyback of shares that have been issued by the company which is listed on the Indonesia Stock Exchange, IDX. Maximum buyback is made of 10% of the outstanding shares. This information was conveyed by the company in a press release in Jakarta yesterday. The textile issuer explained that the reason for the buyback was due to the background of the company's current share price, which does not reflect actual value or performance.